But the big story this morning, in terms of a government story, and my goodness, I think they knew there was some sort of big gap that needed to be filled, was this story. It's in the front of the Mail and the Telegraph, clearly been pushed out. PM vows to curb rip-off degrees. This is a crackdown on rip-off university degrees, limiting the number of students who can actually be enrolled on courses for which basically have either a very high dropout rate. In some courses, you're looking at a third of students dropping out. So they've got the debt. They're never going to be able to pay off the debt, and they're not going to get a graduate job as a result. And even those who do actually finish the degree often end up with a job that does not require a degree. I mean, I'm all for this.
Yeah, completely. And I think that people will be asking, why hasn't sooner action been taken on it? You know,
just clarify, who's been in government for the last 13 years? Let me wait a minute. Let me just. I'm going to look. This is Wikipedia. Is my friend.
You won't need a degree to find that one out today. So,
but every time the government announces something like this, I always just think, where were you the last 13 years? Yeah. We've been talking about this stuff for years.
Completely. And what's so telling, I think, is that, you know, the research done by the Office for Students has found that, what was the killer line? Nearly 3 in 10 graduates do not progress into highly skilled jobs or further study 15 months after graduating. Yeah. So you're getting, the average debt is £45,000 for what?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I went to university when they paid you to go. I wasn't. Look, he's so young. He's so young. Not only did I not have fees, I was given a means-tested full maintenance grant.
I had to pay for the privilege, and I've been paying it back for a while.
Listen, and here you are sitting with me on a Monday morning. How's that working out for you, Mr. Heale?
Worth every penny, Julia. I agree with you.
But this is the thing. Look, a lot fewer people went to university in my day. I mean, certainly my parents' day, I think it was about sort of 8% or something, but certainly a lot fewer. And then when Tony Blair came in, his big thing was everyone should go to university. He wanted 50% of young people to be in university. The whole idea of this was not that everyone was capable of going to university. It was that you got them off the joblessness rolls. I mean, this was a cunning little scam to get people off benefits. The funny thing is, of course, people get into big debt. Most students don't pay off all of their university debt. It's now at a huge interest rate. I mean, mortgage owners would dream of having these interest rates. But it's and a lot of young people are walking away with degrees. And I've had this conversation with a number of young people who've got, frankly, ideas above their station. I've got a media studies. I've got a 2-2 from London Metropolitan University. With all due respect, why do you think you're too good to do a job as a waiter or a barista? Because it doesn't qualify you for anything.
Completely. And there's examples cited in all the papers today. For instance, how the expected salary 5 years after doing a master's in creative writing at Bolton, for instance, is £18,500 a year. So I mean, really, are you better off doing that for 5 years after graduating?
There is, and I'm thinking this idea, having a proper university graduate level job after 15 months. I don't think I did after university that quickly. It took me a couple of years to get my act together, and I was on £9 on my local paper when I did eventually. So I think it does depend, but also there is learning for learning's sake. I quite like that we've got a load of people who know about medieval tapestries. I don't want to know about medieval tapestries, but if some people do. People knowing about stuff is generally a good thing, I think. But the key thing is, realistically, how much debt should you be in? Yes. And a lot of the degrees we're talking about are degrees which they're not 3-year degrees. They should be apprenticeships. They should be a year-long course max.
Yes, and there's also trade-offs, and I think giving young people the information about that is so important by saying, look, you've also got apprenticeships. Frankly, also, if you want to learn, there's a whole world of more accessible information out there which wasn't there 20, 30 years ago with online courses, etc. Yeah, exactly. Good. Quite, you'll catch on. And all these things, if you want to learn about medieval tapestry, Julia, in your infrequent free time, I mean, all these different things are available. And as you say, is that between £45,000 of average debt, and actually, are you going to have the skills needed to make yourself employable the wide
But also, you've got to remember that the loan system for students is. I'm surprised it didn't put people off going to university. Yeah. That surprised me, but if it didn't, it didn't. I mean, I don't want to go down the American system. People have huge debt. In your average university fee in most of Europe is sort of in the small hundreds, certainly not in the high thousands. But it is a rip-off, and it's a rip-off for the students and for the taxpayer, because the vast majority of people don't pay it back. By the way, EU students never pay it back because we've got no way of getting the money back off them. But we are looking at future taxpayers paying all these costs. I mean, it's an absolute joke.
It is, and also all the money is based on a complete house of cards, because people are saying, oh, well, half the money will never be paid back. So all those kind of assumptions, the debts taken out, the loans, big buildings and universities, they're building it on a house of sand. And frankly, it's a ticking time bomb, and we're waiting for those university towns, those less prestigious ones, to blow up at some point, which will happen later this decade.
Absolutely.